Hugo Ekitike. Clear Karim Benzema admission hints at Liverpool transfer plan with Alexander Isak latest Liverpool. Transfer news and gossip as Hugo Ekitike continues to enjoy an impressive start to his career at Anfield. Hugo Ekitike has enjoyed a strong start to life as a Liverpool player. His recent remarks may provide an insight into how the club could approach future transfer dealings. The French forward opened the scoring on Friday night in Liverpool's 4-2 Premier League victory over Bournemouth at Anfield. Not only did he find the net, but Ekitike also set up Cody Gakpo's goal, capping off an impressive debut by being named player of the match. His display built on the momentum from the Community Shield, where he also scored at Wembley. After the game, speaking to Sky Sports, Ekitike reflected on the players who inspired him growing up. Both came through French football, with one of them achieving the sport's ultimate individual honor, the Ballon d'Or. I had two idols when I was young, Neymar and Karim Benzema, especially because of his style of play. What he achieved in football is everything I look up to as a striker, Ekitike said. Liverpool fans may see this as more than just words. Benzema spent much of his career at Real Madrid alongside Cristiano Ronaldo, proving he could both thrive as a lone striker and adapt when playing in a forward partnership, though Ronaldo usually stole the headlines. Benzema showed incredible consistency and versatility, often moving wider to allow Ronaldo's record-breaking scoring runs. This raises a question. Could Ekitike be viewed not just as a central striker, but also as someone who can function in a 2- or 3-man attack? If so, it hints that Liverpool might plan to pair him with other attacking stars rather than simply pit him against them for a starting spot. With Liverpool still being linked to Newcastle United forward Alexander Isak, such tactical flexibility could be crucial. Despite Liverpool's £110 million bid being turned down, reports suggest the Reds remain interested in the Swedish international, while Newcastle continue to hold firm. Although Ekitike's admiration for Benzema is hardly confirmation of a specific transfer strategy, it may reveal how Jurgen Klopp envisions structuring his front line. Whether this points toward Liverpool making another push for Isak before the September one deadline remains to be seen. Meanwhile, in Anfield itself, another story has captured attention, this time off the pitch. Concerns about housing conditions near the stadium were highlighted after a property on Walton Breck Road was evacuated earlier this month. The terraced house, located just a short walk from Liverpool's ground, is deemed unsafe following the appearance of a 5-meter-long crack. Along with sagging windows and a damaged base structure, emergency services quickly sealed off the property. On August 4th, with 2 people trapped inside at the time requiring assistance to leave, neighboring houses were also evacuated as a precaution, while a structural engineer was called in to assess the situation. One of the residents was later taken to hospital by the Northwest Ambulance Service. The council has since ruled the house unfit for habitation. It now sits behind a protective barrier that extends into the street with an official notice pinned to the door. Locals argue that the incident highlights a deeper issue, the need for greater investment and regeneration in areas around Anfield, where many families have lived for generations. On the day of the incident, Merseyside Fire and Rescue Service MFRS released a statement confirming that the Walton Breck Road property was unfit for occupation, though they noted that there had been no major deterioration compared to an inspection carried out a month earlier. Local residents told The Echo they had repeatedly raised safety concerns about the building with Liverpool City Council, but felt little progress had been made. Earlier this month, the council confirmed that its building control team was looking into the matter. The Echo understands the house is privately owned, and while the council has ruled it is not immediately dangerous, officials are now deciding on the next steps. People living nearby, however, argue that this case highlights the urgent need for wider improvements to housing conditions across Anfield. One long-term resident, Hilary Johnston, who lives close to the affected property, said she sees the house's condition as symbolic of a deeper problem in the community. "I've lived here all my life. I was born on Oakfield Road," she explained. Anfield has gone through changes over the decades, but I think the decline really began in the 1970s and early 1980s. Since then, we've only had small bits of improvement here and there. Council has known about this house for a long time, but because it's privately owned, their hands are tied. Unless the council steps in, nothing gets done. The real worry is if it just sits there boarded up for years. That would show exactly what the problem is that we keep leaving things to rot. The same thing has happened to other buildings, like the one near Morrison's, which has been open to the elements for years, and nobody seems to care. Even the row of houses by Home Baked Bakery tells the same story. The Walton Breck Road property is far from the only derelict building near Liverpool FC's Anfield Stadium. As Johnston pointed out, a whole row of boarded-up terraces remains next to the well-known community bakery Home Baked on Oakfield Road, while directly opposite stands the remains of a barbershop that collapsed in May 2024. Those terraced houses were once part of a planned community project, but the council pulled out in December, leaving the future of the site uncertain. As for the barbershop, officials told the Echo last year that they would not be taking further action, stressing that responsibility for repairs lies solely with the owner. Johnston and other locals believe the only real solution is a significant financial investment in the area. There's been a lack of real funding here, she said. Whenever we try to push for development, it feels like an uphill battle. Even when something does get approved, it's after years of campaigning. It's incredibly frustrating. There are so many people who care about this community and want to see change, but progress is painfully slow. Earlier this month, following the announcement of £5 million of new funding for Anfield, many residents told the Echo that addressing derelict and unsafe buildings should be the top priority. Among them was Robert Hart, 75, who has lived in the area since moving from Everton in the 1990s. He pointed to the abandoned row of houses on Oakfield Road as an example of why the area desperately needs regeneration. They've been like that for years, he said. If they weren't going to knock them down, they should have renovated them long ago. Doesn't give the area a good image, just looks run down. The frustrating thing is, they're solid houses. Some proper work, they could still be really good homes, but instead, they've just been left. The £5 million funding announced last month forms part of Liverpool City Council's wider Anfield Spatial Regeneration Framework, SRF. According to the council, the investment aims to make the streets surrounding the stadium safer, greener, and more welcoming. The regeneration program covers Walton Breck Road, Oakfield Road, Pulford Street, Backrockfield Road, and Gilman Street. Planned upgrades include new landscaping, improved pedestrian links, resurfaced roads and pavements, upgraded drainage, modern street lighting, reconfigured parking, reduced road widths to slow traffic, and relocated crossings to improve safety. A mini roundabout